So Sammy and Williams and Clyde, D. Williams and Clyde, they were all back for practice today, and that was that. So look forward to the challenge of playing the Raiders. And listen, we know that they're a good football team, and the guys have had a good week of practice, and we'll finish it up tomorrow and get ready to go out there. That time's yours.
Do we have any questions, guys? Oh, there we go. Harold Kuntz. Go ahead, Harold.
I guess I'll chime in. Andy, as just this week with all the dealing with the COVID-19 list and dealing with the injuries, how just been able to compartmentalize, if you will, all of this in 1 week? It's been one of the more confusing weeks you've had.
Yeah. So I think one of the good things is you've got that backup crew of guys number wise, so that you can get your practice done, and if needed, they can jump in and play. And so we've all kind of gone, listen, what happens this year happens as far as the COVID part of it goes. Everybody be ready to play, and then let's go. So you kind of preface the whole season with, listen, things might happen, and if that's the case, and let's get everybody ready and let's go play. You can't, there's nothing else you can do. So we might eliminate some of the, distractions with the whole thing.
Let's go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Andy, wanted to ask you about L'Jarius Sneed. How has he looked in the couple weeks that he's been back to practice, and is he going to be up on Sunday?
Yeah, there's a good chance he's up. He's looked good and moving around real good, actually. So we'll see how he does and how many plays and all that. But there's a pretty good chance he's up. Yes.
Go next to Nick Jacobs. Go ahead, Nick.
Andy, for you, with the layoff for the past week, what do you want to see from this football team on Sunday?
Yeah, so I think it was a good time for the guys to step back, freshen up a little bit, and then come out and play. And looks like they have some energy. And we got to clean up a couple of things that took place the last game and try to get better. And so that's what we'll attempt to do, and do it with some, like I said, do it with some energy and enthusiasm.
Got 4 left. We'll go right down the line, starting with Saran. Go ahead, Saran.
Real quick, and then I have another question, Coach. You didn't mention Edward Solaire, just where he is as far as practice.
Yeah, no, he was out there. Clyde was out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was out there. Yeah.
Just to make sure. Okay, then with Sammy, coming back and Mcmullen out, just can you break down exactly how everybody, does every wide receiver on your staff have to know every spot so that they can be interchangeable when you're working? Because you really only had 5 guys is kind of a small number to have a lot of the time.
Yeah, no, it's true. We're lucky that the guys, they get it, and Greg makes them learn everything. So that's been a plus for this time right now. So the guys just jump in and they go, whether it's Pringle, it doesn't matter. I mean, the guys just, they know everything, and that's quite an accomplishment. So it's not easily said there, but or easily done. Easy said, not easy done. They've taken that responsibility to make sure they do their homework and have a good feel for all the positions.
Next to Karen Kornacki. Go ahead, Karen.
Coach, Le'Veon Bell, we'll be talking to him shortly, but how do you like the progress he has made fitting into this system? And is he going to be able to do more into the playbook for you maybe this weekend? Yeah,
listen, he's doing great. Real smart guy, works hard, and he's working in. I mean, he's in there going, and there'll be a time when it rolls with him. Some of these things he's been in on a few of the RPOs, and he gets just a taste of the ball, and then the ball's gone and it's being thrown just by chance. So, but he's a good one, and we're glad to have him here.
Let's go next to Matt Derrick. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Coach, you've obviously played in new stadiums quite a bit, and you've had some success there too. I'm just curious, what is it, you're kind of looking forward to with the new Raider Stadium, and how do you get used to going into a new building and getting comfortable and getting into a routine?
Yeah, so I don't really get comfortable in them, other than we go in and we play, and we don't focus on the surrounding part. We're trying to focus on the game, the field, and what we need to do there, where the clocks are, the game clocks and so on, the 24-second clock, all those things you want to locate, and then take care of business from there. But the other stuff you kind of put out. I mean, it's crazy. You get so focused in on that, you don't really notice the whole surrounding. And that's the way it was when we played the Chargers. I mean, brand new facility and beautiful thing driving up, and but once you're into the game, you get a little bit of tunnel vision on just the field.
We'll go last to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Andy, just wanted to ask you about Martinez Rankin. I know he was coming up close to the end of his period as to whether or not you were going to evaluate him to maybe possibly join the active roster. Has the league given you any indication, because he's on the COVID list, where he stands between whether he remains on injury reserve or when you guys have to make a decision, I guess, on him?
Yeah, listen, Brett would probably be a better one to ask on that. I mean, he's dealt with that. It'll be great when we get him back. He's a good kid, and he's a good player. So we'll just see how all that rolls down the road. Brett's been dealing with that though, Nate.
Hey, Ben, can you hear us okay?
Yep.
Good. Well, let's get started. We'll start with Matt Derrick. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Ben, good to see you, man.
You too.
Last year about this time, you had the bye week coming up, and after that, you completely ran the table. Was there anything about that last year that was just kind of a mind, switch for you guys that's maybe comparable to this year, that you feel like you're ready to go in and just do the same thing in the second half of the season?
Yeah, last year I think we were kind of just getting comfortable in the defense. It was our first year in the system. This bye week gave us a chance, to go back and review and look at some things and get our bodies fresh. So hopefully that'll be beneficial to us down this last stretch of the season.
Let's go next to Matt Mcmullen. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Ben. So you guys have been so good this year overall. You've allowed more than 20 points just a couple of times, but the Raiders got you for some big plays back in week 5. I'm just curious, when you go back and look at the tape, what happened in that game that allowed them to do that, and how can you guys correct that in this game?
Yeah, we got to limit the big plays. That's definitely, a focus for us, and that's kind of one of the I guess, cornerstones of our defense, limit those big plays. And, we reviewed the film, try to correct it. Just comes down to execution. Everybody, doing our jobs, being in the right fit, up front, and then also, being in the right coverage on the back end. So, we're looking to make strides from, game 1 to game 2 against them.
Let's go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Ben, Mac's question actually leads me to mine. When you watch the film of that game against the Raiders, what most angers you in terms of what the assignments were that you understood and just what didn't work out?
Yeah, I think it really is just the big plays. I think it was maybe the second quarter there. There was just a stretch of, I don't know the exact plays, like maybe 11 or so plays where they, were really able to hit some explosives on us. And if you take those away, we played a decently clean game, but, obviously every play counts, and, that shows on the scoreboard. So just playing a full game this time, not having a little gap of, however much time in that second quarter where, we gave up plays, just being consistent throughout and, just executing throughout the game and being sound.
Let's go next to Herbie Teope. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Ben, you contribute a lot on defense, and you're also one of the core special teams contributors. How do you go about every week preparing yourself mentally, knowing that you've got multiple assignments that you have to take care of?
Yeah, just staying in tune, getting extra meeting time with Coach House when I can, because there's guys like Hitch, he'll get, extra meeting time during those special teams meetings. So just coming in early, watching extra film, getting in my notebook at night outside of the complex, and then just staying in tune with Coach Tobe. So, however I can help this team, that's what I want to do. So just staying on top of everything.
Go next to Nick Jacobs. Go ahead, Nick.
Ben, for you guys, what's going to be the key to starting fast, setting the tempo, and still maintaining that tempo on Sunday?
Yeah. In their first 15, they're going to come out probably, and give us a lot of, shifts, motions, all that stuff. Just being able to, line up properly, communicate, execute. And, they have a physical run game. So we have to be physical up front, stop the run, and just come out fast. So that's our mindset.
I think I might have cut you off, Nate Taylor. Go ahead. I'm sorry about that. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Thanks. Ben, I also wanted to ask you about Tershawn Wharton. You're a guy that came through the league undrafted. Now you're seeing what Tershawn's doing on the defense. Just what has most impressed you knowing that he took a similar path as you did a couple years ago?
Yeah, for sure. Turk's played really well for us this year. And his path was even a little bit different than mine because he came from a Division II school, if I'm right on that. So just jumping levels there in terms of competition and all that. But yeah, he's been playing well. And it's being undrafted, especially this year without the preseason. It's a tough path, and you got to bring it every day, and that's what he's done. And he's really helped our football team this year. So.
Looks like we've got a couple more hands up. We'll go Pete and then Seren. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, Ben, your time with Kansas City dates back to the scheme shift to Steve Spagnuolo and his crew. What does Matt House bring to the table as far as what scheme and what you guys and your development and so on and so forth?
Yeah, Coach House has been great. With him, I think just the details are, very honed in on in terms of, footwork, start, block destruction, in the pass game, looking up routes, hunting routes, and just being aggressive. So I think everybody in the room, has improved fundamentally with him. So that's been great.
Let's go last to Seren Petro. Go ahead, Seren.
A couple of quick ones for you, Ben. First of all, since Andy Reid's been here, the Chiefs have dominated the AFC West. The Raiders getting that first one, and they look like they're maybe getting some momentum and building something out there. How important is it, or how much do you guys talk about making sure that no one's even close to you, that you continue to dominate the AFC West beyond just the obvious, the divisional standings and getting a playoff spot, but just the mindset that this division knows everything always goes through Kansas City? And I have a follow-up too, Brad, when we get done.
Yeah, division games, we always say, that those are just twice as important, in terms of the standings. And also, you're playing those teams twice. You see them, year in and year out. So, try to take the same approach to every game, just preparing and being ready to go. But, this game's definitely important, and there's no hiding from that.
And then follow up, the league is going into, and I forget what the terminology is. Everybody's going into the high level protocol, right? For the virus. I'm just curious, how much is that? You guys have had a lot of success in isolating when you do have a positive and not having it become a major deal. How big a change is that? Have you guys always been at that highest ready level, or is this going to be an even bigger change and going to be another adjustment here in season when this kicks in this next week?
Yeah, this year it really has just been constantly, being on your toes, being ready to evolve, kind of go with the flow in terms of, all that stuff. Rick and those guys, they do a great job, making sure everybody's following the protocols and, staying distance when we can. And, when we're close together, staying protected and covered up. So, like you said, we've had, minimal things come up, and we've been able to, keep guys healthy and in the complex for the most part. So that's huge. And, going back to the beginning of this year, the team that's going to, stay the healthiest, have the most guys being able to play, that's going to benefit them down the stretch, week in and week out. So definitely being healthy is a huge focus.
We'll get started, and we'll start with Herbie Tiopi. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Le'Veon, thanks for taking a moment here. You're known as one of the league's more patient runners. With 3 games on your belt now and almost a month with the team, how much have you had to adapt what you like to do when you attack a defense to the Chiefs offense? And Brad, I'll have one more question after this.
I think each and every week, each and every day, I'm still learning. I'm still learning the players around me, the offensive line. So I think just naturally over the course of the season, I'll continually get better at it, but I think it's coming along well. I think I'm picking up where I need to pick up. The guys are helping me when I need help. So I think things are moving along pretty well.
And along those same lines, Le'Veon, how beneficial was the bye week, to come right when it did for you to take that extra time to learn more?
Yeah, that was definitely beneficial. I think, not only just for my body, but obviously, like you said, mentally, really learning and getting a grasp of the offense and really understanding everything goes on and why we do what we do. I think that whole week of just learning and not having to go out there and execute and do things really helped me out a lot, to really just kind of look at the plays like, oh, okay, I understand this a little better now. I understand this better. And I actually have to go out there and perform it, just really just learn it and not really have the pressure of performing it. Definitely helped me out.
Let's go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Le'Veon, this is kind of far off and a lot has to happen for it to take place, but there's a chance the Chiefs and Steelers could play each other in the playoffs, maybe even the AFC Championship game. What would that mean to you to play against the Steelers on a big stage like that?
Honestly, I just want to get to the AFC Championship game, period. I think whoever we play down that road, I think it'll be huge. I think, being on this team in Kansas City, I'm not really worried about, too far down the line. We got the Raiders this week. It's a big week, rivalry game. It's my first time really being a part of this rivalry. So that's kind of more of my focus is right now. Is, worried about who we playing this week and not necessarily worried about, down the line in the AFC Championship game. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Let's go next to Aaron Ladd. Go ahead, Aaron.
Hey, Le'Veon, when you first got here, you sent that tweet out asking for some barbecue recommendations. I'm wondering what you found and if you got a favorite spot yet.
I do got a favorite spot. I do. I mean, actually, it's like a couple, but I got like my go-to spot. Yeah, my go-to spot that I have. Yeah, I finally found one.
Hey, let's hear it. Hey, let's hear it.
Q39. Yeah, Q39 is my go-to spot.
You just upset a bunch of people in here.
I already know. But I mean, I've tried a whole bunch, different barbecue spots, but I think Q39, and it's like closer to me too, so that could have helped too, But yes, I've had a lot of good barbecues since I've been here.
Let's go next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Le'Veon, on social media the other day, it looked like you and the other backs were using remote control cars on the field and you're laughing. It just seems like you're having a good time. How much fun are you having and what do you make of the Chiefs culture?
Man, I love the culture over here. I think I could tell, the first day I kind of stepped, foot into the building, I kind of got the vibe. Didn't fully understand yet, but obviously I had the vibe of it. And I think over the last 3 weeks, over the course of this month or last month, I think I've been getting acclimated to it, learning the guys and, hanging out with my teammates, just really getting to know them a little better and they get to know me a little better. But I wouldn't ask for anything in the world. I'm glad I chose here.
Let's go next to Darren Smith. Go ahead, Darren.
Hey, Le'Veon, first of all, man, you're killing me with the Q39. I'm going to have Todd White. that goes without saying. But in all seriousness, you've been in the league a number of years, but what have you been able to learn, within the last month since you've been here under Eric Bieniemy? Obviously, he played in the NFL for 9 years and he's your OC and used to, and play running back. What have you been able to pick up and learn and any advice from him with this Chiefs offense?
Oh, yeah, Coach EB, he's like literally that coach who helped me understood things that I never really look at things kind of different because the way he explained things, So I can come to the sideline, I can run an option route out of the backfield, and I may think I ran it right, which I may have ran it right, but he'll coach it or he'll show me something I could have done better or be in a better situation or how I could have created more separation or how I could have read the coverage a little better, And that's just like for any type of run, you can kind of tell he got like the running back background in him. It's just natural in him. He always trying to, make sure he's on the running backs and, staying on top of us and make sure we're sharp, So I'm glad and fortunate to be playing for him. I'm gonna try to do everything I can to make some plays.
So we got two more. We'll go Nick Jacobs and then Herbie. Go ahead, Nick.
Le'Veon, for you, what's going to be the key for the offense on Sunday to get a good tempo going, impose your will, and be able to maintain that?
I think for us, just starting fast and detailing our work. I wasn't here the last time they played the Raiders, but when I watched the film, I think execution-wise was good. Obviously, there's little things that we could have cleaned up and done better, but you know, we can't come in, you know, kind of complacent or slow. You know what I'm saying? We got to get off to a fast start. We're going to be on the road. It's going to be a tough environment, playing against a good rivalry team. So we just got to get off to a fast start. I think protect the football. And I think a lot of things to go good for us.
We'll go last to Herbie Teope. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Le'Veon, I'm going to take you back to the week where before you signed with the Chiefs. Eric Bieniemy shared with us a story that you reached out to Clyde before you signed. And I'm curious, because that's something we don't normally hear about, but why did you feel it was important for you to reach out to Clyde before you signed in Kansas City?
You know, honestly, because I know he's a young player, a young talented player. He's, you know, I've been watching him over the course of the beginning of the year. I know he's having a good year, so I didn't want to be a guy who come like, you know, maybe like step on his toes a little bit. That's really why I, you know, was kind of telling him like, you know, just talking to him before I even made a decision, just, you know, kind of seeing how he was. And because I would have got the vibe that he didn't really want me here, I probably wouldn't have came, you know what I'm saying? But he seemed like he was just so open and like, bro, let's get a ring, you know what I'm saying? Let's do that. So he kind of was like welcoming me. And we had conversations before I even got here. So I think once I kind of got the clearance with Clyde, you know, that he's going to be okay with it, everything's going to be all right. That's when I think I started getting more engaged with the coaches and like, all right, let me see more depth, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was like really the beginning of it. Me reaching out to Clyde and, you know, picking his brain about it and see if he was okay with it, which he was. And he welcomed me with open arms, so I'm glad I'm here.